When it came time to buy a newspaper, because I had worked in a previous life, I was the periodicals librarian at the Cambria County Library many, many, many years ago. And I know that they have a complete run of the Tribune Democrat, the Johnstown Tribune Democrat. Well, the Tribune Democrat and the Democrat merged in 1952. Prior to 1952, it was the Johnstown Tribune and the Johnstown Democrat. When I first came out here, the only people who had a copy of the Democrat was the newspaper itself. And they wouldn't let anybody look at it. You know, you couldn't just go into their archives and say, I want to look at the Democrat. So when it came time to buy a newspaper here, I decided to pick up the run of the Democrat. That way, between me and the public library, you should be able to get access to the entire set of the Johnstown Democrat and Johnstown Tribune. So we have the Johnstown Democrat from May of 1893. I've got it up to December of 1937. I need to get that last little chunk from 37 to 52, and then I will have the complete run of the Democrat. But this is also an interesting newspaper because you find things in the Tribune, or sometimes you find things in the Democrat that aren't in the Tribune. I grew up in Pittsburgh. We always had the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette and the Pittsburgh Press. The Pittsburgh Post-Gazette was the Republican newspaper, the Pittsburgh Press was the Democratic newspaper. You got different spins on the same story depending on which newspaper you got. We in my household subscribed to both of them because we got the Post-Gazette in the morning, the Press was the Sunday paper. The Post-Gazette didn't print on Sunday. So the same deal was with Johnstown. You had the Democrat and the Tribune, a Democratic paper and a Republican paper, so you get different news in both newspapers. So I often tell people, and one was a morning paper, one was an evening paper. So depending on when somebody died, the morning paper might grab their death notice, the evening paper might not cover it. So you kind of have to look at both newspapers. The problem was too typesetting back in the day. Not like today, you know, there's an obituary section. You guys know this. The obituaries are anywhere they could have a little hole they had to plug. So you have to look through an entire day's newspaper to find an obituary, because it could be stuck any little place the typesetter had to have a little spot he needed to fill. There were death notices and there were obituaries, and they are different. A death notice was literally just a notice. Fred died yesterday. The obituary was a little more lengthy, told a little more of the story. I gotta be honest, when I came to Johnstown, shocked at the length of obituaries in the newspaper. I mean, I'm convinced now that people stay on boards and are active in this area just because it looks good on their obituary. I mean, they have stuff in there from kindergarten. You know, he was born, a poor child, in 1932. On day 5, he went to kindergarten. I mean, it's Pittsburgh, you're lucky if you get this much of an obituary. You're lucky if they get the date and where you're going to be laid out. So it's very interesting obituaries. So make sure you check both of those papers. Now, I do have the Tribune Democrat from 1995 forward, and the reason I do is because that's when the college was founded. So we started buying all the Tribunes because of any reference to the history of the college. So I do have the Tribunes from 1995, and they're current. So that's kind of our microfilm collection. We'll take a look at that when we get up there, because I'm going to show you how to use our microfilm readers in case you ever stop in.